Hello and welcome back to another episode of the MindSets podcast. You're back.
I am back.
We've missed you.
I got replaced, didn't I?
You did get replaced.
Yeah.
It was a real trial for Millie. She was unsuccessful. Charles is keeping his job. How are you?
Yeah, I'm actually very good. She wasn't unsuccessful.
She wasn't unsuccessful. Millie, you were great.
And the episode was very good. Yeah, I enjoyed listening
thank
to
you.
that.
Yeah, you were a listener again.
I know.
Yeah.
Like the good old days. But it's nice to be back. Got a new table as well.
Yeah, it's a new setup.
Things have changed.
Yeah. There's going to be some interesting things in the episode where we've now got like loads of other things to talk about as well, which is cool. Starting off with though, what's going on in the world of sport?
You want me to start off?
You start.
Kick it off. Lots of rugby over the last couple of weeks, autumn internationals. And this weekend, they've announced a couple of different awards. So you have the World Player of the Year, and then there's the Breakthrough Player of the Year as well. So World Player of the Year went to Malcolm Marx, who's the front row. He plays hooker for South Africa. I think he's the first, and this is completely off the top of my head, I'm clutching at straws here. I think he's the first hooker to win the award since Keith Wood in 2001.
I was gonna say I can't remember the last time a forward.
Well, forwards like
obviously
back
forward
row,
generally,
like,
back row, but like
like a front row player.
row.
So and he plays the majority of his rugby or his international rugby off the bench. So he doesn't even play full game. That's how impactful he is, how good he is as a player. And then I think it was Fabian Holland, who's a Kiwi, got World Breakthrough Player of the Year. And that was like a tight battle between Henry Pollock, who's obviously a rising star in the England team. But yeah, that got announced last night. So that's what's happening in the world of rugby.
Well done, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. But no, seriously, I think rugby at the moment, with the autumn internationals, is one of the biggest focuses sport-wise. We were talking about this before. We were thinking, like, what news have we got? It's pretty much rugby's going on. It's not been going well for Wales and Ireland this weekend. It was okay for Italy because they got to play Chile.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much the reality of it. And then, if at the time of the recording, England will have played and won. But
You'd have hoped so.
Yeah,
It's a shame, really, the scheduling of the autumn internationals, because obviously off the back of the win against New Zealand, you'd have hoped that they'd then go and play someone like South Africa, but they're playing Argentina. So it's like, it would be nice to see where England kind of fare against the best team in the world. And South Africa seem to be completely untouchable at the moment. But it's a nice little battle at the top where Ireland probably aren't playing their best rugby. England are definitely on an upward trajectory, which is nice from like the last 3-4 years where it's been a bit of a shocker. But we seem to have like a really good group of young boys coming through. So it's good to see like the England trajectory coming up to the World Cup in a couple of years.
Do you know what's going to be a secret theme of this whole episode? I haven't told you this. Secret theme of this whole episode is going to be that we're actually old.
No.
So the thing that's been really upsetting me about rugby is, obviously I grew up playing it, watching it, seeing all the like talisman players like Johnny Wilkinson. They obviously retired pretty soon after, and I was like, yeah, cool, makes sense. Then it went through the phase of the next generation coming through. They're all retiring now, which is mad, because I remember seeing them and thinking they're only a couple of years older than me.
Yeah.
And then it was fine because I still knew quite a lot of players that were breaking into the professional scene, and that was really exciting. I was like, oh yeah, no, my mate actually plays for that team. Well, I went to school with that person. Now a lot of them are stopping playing.
Well, I had a thought about it until you brought it up now, and that's really depressing.
Yeah, it's actually really sad.
But yeah, it is true. It's funny you mentioned that, because it's like, growing up, England were always one of the best teams.
Yeah.
It's like we were great at rugby, and that was really cool to me. And like growing up and seeing England win the World Cup with Johnny Wilkinson, like you play that clip on YouTube
so many times.
I will never get bored of that, and I will always get goosebumps. It's incredible. So that kind of era of rugby is what kind of inspired me to play the game, I think, as well. And I remember in school, I think it must have been like the day after or a couple of days after, like sitting cutting out the newspaper clippings of like the famous Martin Johnson silhouette holding the World Cup. So but then over the course of like the last 4 or 5 years, the England game has just like gone to a rebuilding phase, and we've struggled in certain positions and like the continuity of but now it's on the flip, and I think like we're going to be a very, very strong side for the next couple of years.
I think it's tough because a lot of the international rugby teams at the moment have got great players, but there's no like great unity of the great players, and that's one of the things when you look back on like the teams that win the World Cups is you look at that there's 5 or 6 of the world's best players and they're all playing well together.
Yeah.
And that's really what makes a World Cup team
I
so
think
good.
like, and obviously, unless you're a South African and a South African rugby fan, the South African team is like really grating and it's a really hard team to like. Even if you're just a mutual, like watching the game and like not even supporting either side, they're a hard team to like. But you dig in a little bit deeper, they're like a really close-knit group of players. And like they love playing rugby together. And that's why probably they're so good, because yes, they have good depth and they probably have the 2 best teams in the world, the best A team and the best B team. So it's like, if you have that kind of depth, and I think that's maybe testament to Rassie and like the setup in South Africa where they keep cycling the players.
Yeah.
So they're always getting game time.
Yeah.
Where you compare that to a team like Wales, I think they lost 22 games in a row. Then they beat Japan by 1 point. And then they lost again yesterday. So it's like, I saw a load of tweets like after they beat Japan, like the win streak is on now.
Yeah,
and it lasts 1 week.
The tides have not turned.
But the problem with that is just like the poor academy systems in Wales, and there's not enough funding. And I think there's lots of rules around your eligibility to play for Wales. You have to play in Wales, but club rugby in Wales is just a shambles and no one wants to play there.
Yeah.
But you rewind a couple of years ago to when they were at their best. Ospreys, one of the club teams, they were top of Europe. So it's like you can kind of see the parallels between club rugby and obviously the international teams. But yeah, it's a shame for Wales, and I think it's probably going to be like a 4 to 6 year project of getting them back to where they want to be.
Again, touching on the old thing, I remember being young and seeing like my friends' parents discussing like how much rugby's changed. But as far as like you were saying before, but the whole time I'd been alive, England had been pretty good. Yeah. The All Blacks were notoriously pretty good. Springboks, pretty good all the time. And then Wales and Ireland started coming into it massively with the Six Nations. And it was like, oh, actually, they're the best team in Europe. And then France would appear and then went away. And all of these things have happened. And now I'm sat here at my big age. Actually, point on this, if you're listening to the podcast on the day it came out, tomorrow's my birthday. So please share it with your friends and subscribe as a birthday present to me. But in my nearly 29 years, that's so scary. In my nearly 29 years, I have seen so many ebbs and flows in sport generally that I fully get it now. But as a kid, I just didn't really understand what they were talking about. Like when you run into someone in the playground or their parents like, oh yeah, I support Leeds football. And I'm like, why would you support Leeds? Then like, look at me now.
And
Leeds isn't a bad team
They
again.
used to be goated. Like
they used to be so good. They turned irrelevant and now they're good again.
Yeah, well, it's the same with like English football as well. Growing up, English football sucked.
Yeah.
Like we were rubbish all the time. We were rubbish.
So bad.
And now we're good.
Yeah.
And it's funny to watch that. But apologies if you don't like rugby because we've just lost you.
I'll move on from rugby. The only real other sport that was going on this weekend was the Formula One. First of all, minor grind my gear. The race happened on a Saturday.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Yeah, come on.
We know that the Americans are trying to change it. You've already changed it. Just put a sprint race on. If you want a race on Saturday, put a sprint race on. Let's get back to the real business on Sunday. But bigger than that, we've had double disqualification announced a matter of hours ago.
Crazy, isn't it?
Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri out for skid wear. For those of you that didn't want to go into the nerdy side of it, skip ahead about 30 seconds. The skid is on the bottom. When you set the ride height of the vehicle, the vehicles these days have a design underneath that's for aerodynamics. It helps almost suck them to the ground a bit. Ground effect is what it's called. If your skid is too worn, it means your car has been too low to the ground. You've been getting too much an advantage, and therefore you've been penalised. Clearly, it was bad enough that they weren't just penalised; they've been chucked out.
Yeah.
The biggest thing, there's 2 impacts on the Drivers' Championship, because we know McLaren have won the Constructors' Championship overall at this point. With 2 races left, Verstappen is somehow not just in the running. Yeah. He's within 24 points of leading. For reference, if Lando and Oscar crashed out of one of the next races and Max won, he'd get 25 points. So he'd immediately be in the lead.
It's kind of flipped the whole narrative, hasn't it?
Completely.
And it's come from nowhere.
And the other thing, the other small thing is for Oscar. Oscar's probably actually a little bit happy about it because Lando had increased the margin slightly on Oscar.
This weekend he can't.
This weekend he can't because they've both got 0 points. So the gap has stayed the same, which means that there's a tiny benefit for Oscar, but they might both lose out to Max if he continues his charge, which is
I'm not the biggest Verstappen fan, as you know, but I like this for the narrative of this season. It's making it a little bit more exciting.
Historically, I'm not, and like it's one of those things where, you know, game respects game.
Yeah.
I have to, if he can pull it back with the car that he's got and the lack of driving support, like Lando and Oscar have been able to use each other in races to help defend a bit.
Yeah.
What's Yuki Tsunoda doing? What's he like? He's not there to help Max.
Yeah.
He's down in 19th.
Yeah.
He's trying to finish. Like Max is doing it on his own. And so I'll hold my hands up and I'll say, look, if you can do it this season, you are truly up there in the conversation of one of the best drivers of all time.
Yeah. No, it definitely proves that.
If you can't, I'll forget about it and you won't be. So no pressure to Max there.
Who's also obviously listening.
Yeah. Well, they're all in the same room actually.
Yeah.
All three of those guys. However, we have things to catch up on because last time the lovely listeners and watchers saw you on the podcast was just after you had great success in Birmingham. And I don't know if you remember, but we were talking about getting a water sponsor because you're needing to drink a lot of water. You're quite dehydrated. I'm hoping as well that we've got some of the listeners that remember me talking about what happened to me earlier on in the year in Cardiff, where I got rhabdomyolysis. Do you want to take over?
The irony is, and I remember once that episode had been released, because the whole time I was feeling terrible and I was like, I've committed to doing this podcast. I will do it. Maybe I'm just being pathetic. But
hold on. If that doesn't deserve a like and a comment right now and go back to that video and give it some love as well, then, you know, anyway.
I will happily put my hands up and say that is the worst podcast that we have done together. Whether that was just because of the location of where it was, nothing against Birmingham or the budget Ibis.
Yeah.
Actually, you were in Ibis Premium or whatever.
Yeah.
Or just the fact that I was on like death's door. That it wasn't a good episode, but listening back to it, I'm just like looking at, I was not with it, and I just like, I needed to not be there. But yeah, it turns out that I also
got rhabdo.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit embarrassed about it. I don't really know why. I'm a little bit embarrassed about that because I raced 2 days back to back, and that's not something that I would have necessarily normally done. I don't think it was anything irresponsible. I don't think it was anything out of my performance ability. I don't know what contributed to it. It was just like the level of intensity back-to-back days, and probably I hadn't pushed myself that hard for a long time. I blame Hugh. I had to carry Hugh in the Pro Doubles race.
Okay, so I basically wanted to make a bit of a point about this because not only have we coincidentally, do you know we've got a new name, by the way?
I don't want to know the name.
We're the Rhabdo Bros. We are the Rhabdo Bros.
That's a good name. Yeah, that's actually a good name.
If we race together, we need that on our t-shirts. The Rhabdo Bros.
Oh no.
Essentially, the reason I wanted to talk about this a bit more is not because it's somewhat funny when it's really not very funny. Because again, for those that don't know, it is genuinely potentially life-threatening. You can die if you go untreated and don't take care of it. The ketones in your muscles start to break down, or your muscles start to break down, release ketones, which are toxic to your body. They then get flushed elsewhere in your body, and the whole thing is pretty much not very good. What that means for you is that you need to hydrate a lot, like a lot, because you'll start to notice that you might actually leave Coca-Cola in the toilet rather than a normal piss, that kind of thing. From an athlete,
or just straight blood,
or just straight blood is the worst way.
I don't know. Things that I've heard,
but like it's genuinely very, very serious. And I think the thing that's really interesting is there are levels to it. Of course, it can be life threatening. It doesn't mean that it will be life threatening for some people and not for others. It depends on how bad it is. Quite a lot of people get it.
Yeah.
It's extremely misunderstood as a thing because people just go and assume, oh, it's DOMS.
Yeah.
Like that's all it is. It's not at all. It can feel similar in a minor case. People need to be more aware of it. And the reason that I wanted to talk about it briefly is because there are certain things that people don't understand is going on that is contributing to it. You've kind of mentioned 2 of the things. The first thing is people's readiness for an event. A lot of people, and the fantastic thing about an event like HYROX or things like ATHEX or other fitness events where the level that you require in athleticism for entry, the bar for entry basically is quite low.
It's very accessible, yeah.
It's very accessible. But what that means is that you get some people that will not train and will turn up and do it, or will not train to the same level of intensity as a race.
I think and I think fortunately in my background in CrossFit, you get taught about rhabdo very early on in your coaching journey, because it's something that maybe is more common in the sport of CrossFit. And I think that might be because the roots of CrossFit are very much in military and services. So that's that. So you mentioned like the accessibility. I think it's and preparedness. I think it's more of the fact that you can come into HYROX with very little preparedness, having once been super fit. So if you take the example of someone who was in the military, who maybe left the military and then stopped training, they have this innate ability to push themselves really hard, and they know they want to push themselves hard because they're super macho and really tough, but they just don't have that preparedness in the lead up to the race, but can still push themselves to that level. And we use that example. We spoke about the ultra distance runner, Hans Troyer. Remember that episode where we spoke about him, because he gave himself rhabdo because he just had this like unbelievable ability to push himself even when his mind was like, you really need to stop. But he's like, no, I'm going to keep going. It's those people that I'm more concerned about than the people who just turn up to do ATHEX, who do HYROX, who do this fitness
Who haven't
competition.
necessarily had a level.
Because they don't necessarily have the ability to push themselves hard. I'm not saying that they don't, but they're less likely to.
So this is an interesting point. So again, for context, when this podcast comes out in about a week's time, London HYROX will be kicking off. You, as a result of your rhabdo, have had to basically pull out. For those that don't know, the long-lasting effects are actually pretty bad. Like, you shouldn't be doing intense training for quite a while because you can just take yourself back a week of recovery. That smile tells everything. But the thing that I'm actually a little bit worried about is I'm racing. I'm doing a mixed doubles. We do want to go, ideally, we'd love to go sub-hour. That's not just a thing you can do. It's hard.
Yeah.
I've done it before. I know what speed you need to do things. I know that I was once fit enough to do it. My fitness has been a bit all over the place because of illness, injuries, everything. I'm going to go into that race and I'm going to have an expectation that I will run this. Fair enough. I'm not going to be like, I'm going to run my fastest ever, but I will want to run those splits. I want to do those station splits, and knowing what I'm like, I won't take any sort of no for an answer when I get there.
Yeah. I mean, as a result, you're the prime candidate.
Literally. And I'm aware of this, and I'm giving people advice now on things to watch out for, but I'm still aware that I am in a very susceptible position for doing that exact thing.
Yeah.
So that's not good. The next thing to talk about is the volume. So when people potentially will do HYROX sims and that sort of thing, this is another actual awful plug for us, but if you're used to doing sim events or simulations at these gyms, which are like 45 minutes, and then you actually go into a HYROX race and it's an hour and 15, an hour and 30, whatever it is, or an event that's similar that could even go on all day in the events like ATHEX, then all of a sudden your body's actually not that prepared. Like, yes, you can sustain a certain level of intensity for a certain amount of time, but what if you double that time? What if, yes, you get rest, but the overall time is quadruple that time throughout the day?
Yeah.
That's part of the issue. An interesting thing, specifically why I think we're seeing more and more of it in events like HYROX, whereas it's always been a thing in other sports, but HYROX specifically, is the movements themselves. A large number of the movements, in fact, I think it's like literally 50% with the burpee broad jumps, the lunges, the wall balls.
You're going to say legs.
The other one. I wasn't going to just say legs. The eccentric loading of in the way that you do it. Like, you are trying to be as explosive as possible. You're demanding so much in load management from those, which is actually what causes more of a reaction in terms of rhabdo.
Yeah.
And especially because at the end of the race, which is where it happened to me and I knew that something was going wrong, is lunges and wall balls, and you're doing incredibly high volumes of them.
Yeah.
That's where it really pushes you over. And that's the other thing with it, is it's those exercises that give you the sort of, they pull the trigger on the gun really with it, and they come right.
Yeah, the one thing that you always get taught about is, you said it there, eccentrics or doing negative.
Yeah.
So when you're training in the gym, even if you're doing different types of movements. So say, for example, you're looking to develop the strength to do a pull-up. One of the best ways to do that with time under tension is through a slow eccentric of the movement. Same with maybe doing a back squat. If you want to develop good strength, you want more time under tension, so maybe do a negative rep and you go slower through the eccentric. If you do that twice in the week, you've already done 2 different sessions, even though you're working 2 different body parts. Already I'm like, that's probably enough. So then if you go and do another thing, I want to develop my upper body pressing strength, I'm going to do a slow tempo rep on bench press. Then you've done 3 different negative sessions, and all of those things are very conducive to high levels of muscular breakdown, and as a result leads to things like, I mean, in a very severe case will be rhabdo. More likely than not, it's just like unexplainably bad DOMs.
Yeah.
But it's like, again, that's not conducive to sustainable training.
Yeah,
so exactly. It's like, you might as well just be more sensible and do 2 negative sessions or 1 in the week, and then next week do a different type of et cetera, et cetera. So it's just like being sensible around how you prescribe the movements for you. But it's like a really important thing to talk about.
Then if we talk about the warning, well, the main warnings that I want to give people is what people do in the lead up to the events. So yeah, training is one that you have to be aware of. You don't want to go in effectively hindering yourself by overtraining too intensely, and that's why tapering is really important as well. But out of interest, between your races and in the lead up to your second race, what did you have in terms of fuel, and did you drink anything in particular before you went into that second race?
I tried to do the analysis on it to kind of figure out what went wrong. I think the gap between finishing men's pro doubles and then doing my mixed race the following day, I think we raced at 5:30 on Wednesday night, and then my next race was 3:10 the following day. So it's like the turnaround time is short. What do we do for dinner? We did pizza. Yeah, I probably didn't drink enough. I'm not really overly concerned about the fuel that I had that night. I think I ate enough. We then ate again after we went for dinner.
Yeah,
I'd eaten enough. I just probably hadn't hydrated enough. I think the lead up to the men's pro race, I got up at 4 a.m. because I was coaching in the morning, so I already worked. So during those first 4 hours of my morning, probably didn't eat or drink because that's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
And then went straight to the station, hopped on the train to get to Birmingham, probably was eating meal deals, and again, probably not drinking enough. So I think lots of things weren't maybe planned correctly, and as a result, were not conducive to good performance.
Well, one of the big things that I was thinking about more so between your races is you and people that do back-to-back events and basically get the same effect. It's kind of, you can do a lot of the damage in the first one.
Yeah.
And then you don't notice it because it's been less than 24 hours. And then on the second day, you kind of persevere because you're like, I would feel bad. I've literally done a race, or I've done the event yesterday. And you kind of persevere and you double the damage, if not more. But interestingly, hydration is such a key part with it, not necessarily just because you need to be hydrated to do these events, but thermal management and the heat management and being well trained for heat training or well experienced in heat training around these sorts of events is so key to your muscles not breaking down.
Yeah.
And if you're not hydrated enough, then your vasodilation doesn't happen as efficiently, and therefore your body just has already got a ceiling. And then you go into the same perspective of mentally, you can push yourself to run the speed because you know you should. So you do, but your body's not in a situation where it can handle it. And then put on top of that, and I actually don't think you did this, but a lot of people will have maybe just an energy drink. Some people will have pre-workouts before they race. And we've discussed on the podcast about how beneficial caffeine and different stimulants can be. However, different stimulants are very well connected to this not being a side effect, but increasing your risk of getting rhabdo as a result, partly because it masks.
That's it, yeah.
Like, how often is it that if I've taken pre-workout, which has got a stimulant in it, that I get the beta-alanine itch?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I sweat a bit more sometimes. Okay, but if I go and race and I was sweating more this particular race, I'd be a bit like, oh, okay, maybe I'm really hot.
Yeah.
Am I drinking enough for that? Whereas if I had pre-workout, I'd be like, sometimes I just sweat on that.
I think also, and the added adrenaline that you're getting from the race as well.
Yeah.
But the heat thing's important because like you'll Google rhabdomyolysis, and one of the first things that comes up as a way that can exacerbate the issue is if you're training in the heat, or exposure to heat. So you're obviously, I don't think the venue was like crazy hot, but it was hot.
Yeah,
it always is when you're racing inside. So that's just another thing to look out for. And I don't want to like fearmonger or scaremonger anyone, but it's like, it's definitely something to be aware of. And if you do start to feel bad afterwards, more likely than not, you're completely fine. But if you do see some of these symptoms, then it's definitely worth going and speaking to. I'll just go to A&E basically. Don't bother with trying to go through the route of your GP. Just go to A&E, and there's a specific blood test that they can do to figure out how much muscular breakdown is basically in your blood. And very quickly they can go, okay, you have it, you don't have it. If you have it, we'll probably keep you in for a couple of hours on an IV, just to get your fluids back to where they need to be and just monitor you. But yeah, there's levels and there's severities to it. And, if it's really bad, then yeah, like you say, it can be life-threatening because it causes fluid in the lungs, on the lungs and that kind of thing. So it can be very, very dangerous. But yeah, and you mentioned the commonality of it. I know lots of people who've had it.
I know lots of people that have definitely had it, but not gone and got diagnosed, and therefore have just assumed that they just race really hard.
Yeah.
And I've now had the conversation with them where I'm like, you probably did. Like they've got all the symptoms
in some severity for sure.
And like, you need to be aware of it, because if you are a person that's had it once before, then not necessarily saying like you've got the brain of someone that can push themselves that far, but like if you've had it once before, there's every chance you can get it again.
Yeah.
So like maybe take the steps to be a bit more aware of why it's happening and how it's happening, because I don't think it's a thing that's actually common enough to say that everyone should just be aware of this and everyone should think about it.
Yeah.
But again, this ties back into the idea of doing simulations and preparing properly for your event. If all you've done is done a lot of slow running because you saw that was good on the internet, and then a couple of burpees in your gym sessions, and then you've just done some lifting, then your body's not primed for an event like that. And you are, if you think you're an extremely motivated person and you can push yourself more than most, you are at incredibly high risk of doing some serious damage to yourself. So yeah, I didn't want to make it seem like a lecture to the people listening, but I genuinely think it is interesting because so many people might be listening and thinking, I did have that one time where it really sucked after the race or whatever. But interestingly, we were talking about the heat training side of things, because one of the things that's so difficult in the UK, especially at the moment, because when I was talking to Millie on the last podcast, I was like, I can't feel crispy because it's 13 degrees outside.
And then bang.
-4.
Yeah.
But winter training is tough. And one of the things that I said to you before you arrived here, one of the things I want to discuss about winter training is I don't like using the term anxious, but that's pretty much what it is. I get a little bit stressed out around Christmas when I know I'm going to go out to see family for a few days, and the day is around drinking and eating loads.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't do that unless I feel like I'm offsetting it, which might not be seen as the most healthy thing, but I would argue it actually
Lots
is.
of people will relate to you.
So when it comes to winter training, it's really hard to deal with the temperature. And then it's also really hard to deal with juggling it around everything else going on. You program people and you dealt with the same number.
Oh no, it's really interesting. And actually one more winter than you. Yeah, I'm older than you.
By a year?
Yeah.
When are you 30?
April.
Oh shit, you're the year above me.
That's why that was earlier. And I was
you're old. I'm nearly old. Yeah, cool.
But yeah, so there's two different things that we've got to discuss. It's kind of the dealing with temperature, and I know a lot of the people listening, and for us as well, a lot of the training that we do is running, and we like to do that outside. I joked the other day that the treadmill was created exactly for the reason why I didn't want to go running on Thursday morning when it was -1 or whatever. But let's talk about scheduling training around the festive period. I think the first thing to do, and this is easier said than done, is it's really okay to take time off. Like, it's so okay. It's actually better than okay for most of the people who listen, and for us especially as well, who train probably too much for the amount that we rest. Having this time, this period, just to kind of like ease off and chill and eat and just have some time away from the gym is really, really healthy. If you can do that and manage that, then great. If not, then just a little bit of exercise around what you're doing, because exactly the same for me. If I've spent the whole day sat on the sofa eating celebrations and watching the TV, I'm not going to feel great.
Yeah.
But if I can get out and do a little run, then that's going to probably make me feel a lot better. So it's like, I know for me, when I go home, I don't necessarily have access to the gym. So having the ability to just get outside, even if it's going for a walk, because everyone can go for a walk, but running, walking, that kind of thing, do something around the day to like get out and get some fresh air and some sunlight if there is any, but not to put too much pressure on yourself over that period.
Yeah. I think one of the other things as well is trying to get to a gym can be stressful because gyms are closed.
Yeah,
like that's understandable. If you're like me and you've gone and got like someone called them recently national gyms. Like a national gym is a way of clarifying. That's quite a good way of doing it. So like a national gym where you've got Pure Gym, The Gym, Anytime Fitness, they can be great over the winter period. I'm not going to say you should borrow other people's. I'm not going to say that, but you know,
there's always that.
There's always a way. You can always get a free trial. But yeah, using those gyms is really, really good, and that's so valuable at that time of the year. But like you said, you know, if you can take a resistance band home with you and you can do some mobility, because guarantee you, if you're listening to this, you don't do enough mobility.
Yeah.
Then that's the sort of thing you should prioritize. And yeah, it doesn't necessarily make you feel like you've got abs, but you know, I've been absolutely ruined in the past 2 weeks by trying to do an ab workout on YouTube with this girl that just has clearly got the best abs in the world, and I'm shocking.
Yeah.
I'll be doing that over Christmas because that was quite embarrassing. But there's little bits you can do, but take the time to sort of enjoy the time away. And if anything, if you don't come back to your training after Christmas and the New Year's period, really eager to hit the ground running, then you've probably not rested enough.
Yeah.
And that's a good way of indicating.
I think so. I think the other thing to mention as well, and I don't know if you've experienced this as well, but often you're surrounded by family who aren't as invested in training in the gym as you are. And they think that you doing training when you're away is just the most mental thing ever. So I think it's a really difficult balance, not only for yourself, maybe you don't have the access to the gym and you're not on your normal schedule of training, etc., but also you then have the added pressure of, why are you doing that? Or you have to come with us because we're going out drinking, or etc., etc. You're going to sit with us and you're going to eat chocolate. Whereas actually you just want to go and train. You don't want that pressure coming from that. I don't know if you've experienced that before.
There used to be for me, there still actually is. The school I used to go to has almost like a reunion every year. People would go down to a pub that's just down the road from the school, and it's always a pub. It's not just my year; it's just the whole school.
Oh, cool.
So like, yeah, it's mad. It's now a ticketed event because it's got so busy. But you run into, there might be like, I don't know, 20, 30 people from your year at school, and you kind of run into them. I have stopped going in recent years, but I didn't want to go, and then I'd feel like really rough. Plus, where I like went to school, there's no like Uber, there's no like tubes or any good train service or anything. So the best way to getting home was calling an expensive taxi, getting a lift from someone, or walking. And it was about a 45, 50-minute walk. So I'd just run home. Like it's really cringy in some ways, but like, I still don't actually regret it. Christmas Eve, go down to the pub, have a few drinks with friends, catch up, and then I'd just run home. I loved it.
Yeah.
So nice running at that time of year.
What footwear had you worn? Tell me you'd worn running trainers to the pub for the school reunion.
Definitely not, because I didn't want to like go to a school reunion and everyone be like, what a weirdo wearing carbon plated shoes to the pub.
That would be so goated.
No, I'm pretty sure.
Really baggy trousers.
I'm pretty sure at the time it definitely would have been Air Force, because I didn't run. So like,
oh my God,
I would do that and I'd wear Air Force. And my first run when I quote unquote decided I was getting into running, I did in Air Force. I did 12K in Air Force once. 12K. Took me an hour and 13 minutes.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
Okay. That's funny.
Yeah. But then this is also another issue, is the other reason I would run rather than walk is because it's fucking freezing. It's so cold. And one of the things that I was going to say was about warm-ups, in how people do warm up for their gym sessions. Because at the moment I get up early in the morning. It is really cold. I cycle there. I'm absolutely freezing.
Yeah.
And then if I'm doing a leg session, I haven't warmed up on that cycle, which I would normally have called my warm up in the summer. So now I get into the gym and I sit on a bike, which elongates my session, which is always really annoying. And I think that's the other thing, when people try and squeeze workouts in, they kind of ignore a warm up a bit. But at the moment, you genuinely have to warm up in both senses of the word. Which I think a lot of people do overlook. And then cool downs as well. Like
I think this kind of plays into the other element of what we were going to discuss is like the actual temperature when you're training. I'm going to use a personal example because on Thursday last week, that was the first time for me where I'd gone, the temperature has taken a drastic dip.
Is it okay to wear gloves?
It's exactly what I've put on my story, right? And for sure it was okay. Because when I do it was one of my
I would have responded, but I didn't want to take my gloves off to reply to you.
Yeah, that's funny. So someone said it's acceptable to go gloves as long as you wear 3-inch shorts.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I do my speed sessions around Battersea, and I live a little bit away, so I cycle down to the park, and I always do them early. So I start running at 6 a.m. So I'm leaving the house at 5:30. And like, it's cold when it's like frost on the Boris bike seat. So by the time I got there, I couldn't feel my hands. And I was like, I do not want to train now, but I don't want to cycle home because my hands are so cold. So I dock the Boris bike and I walk into the park, and I know I've got a 2K warm up. Usually before I warm up, I do some stretching, but I'm pretty satisfied that I'm warm from my 10-15 minute cycle over there. I was so cold, and I was like, I can't even, this is like survival. This is survival mode. I can't do my calf raises now. I just have to run. So I started running, and after the 2K warm up, I was still freezing, still couldn't feel my hands. And now my calves and my ankles hurt because I didn't do my calf raises. And then my shin sides hurt. It was just a nightmare. So definitely worth spending longer doing your warming up when you get into the gym. And I say that to my clients when we come into the gym now, especially early in the morning. They all come in with big coats on now, and they're all shivering. The last thing they want to do is stand around the whiteboard whilst I explain the workout. So we're like, coats off, let's just get moving. And then once they're a little bit warmer, then we can discuss the workout. But I will extend the warm up, especially the first bit, the raise the heart rate and the body temperature. We spoke about that a load of times before on the podcast, but I will extend that and make sure that's factored into the session plan to make sure that everyone is not creaking around and like clicking and whatever when they're trying to do the movements.
Another thing as well, if you're the sort of person that gets up and goes, that sounds weird to say, but gets up and then leaves. Quite often when you get out of bed, it's like really cold and you're like, oh my God, you put your clothes on and then you just sort of trundle your way down to the gym, maybe get on a bike or whatever. But if you can literally, I know this is so hard for some people, including me, but if you get up 5 to 10 minutes earlier and spend a bit of time at home getting warm, in your home, it's going to be a lot easier than outside on the way. Get a bit warm. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to stretch, but if you want to do a bit of stretching at home, then at least you're somewhat limber. Yes, you go outside and you do get colder, but then you have turned the engine on a little bit in terms of getting the blood around. Then yes, it will cool you down. But when you get in, it's not so much of a shock to the body to try and get everything going. And if you do just jump on and start getting on a bike in the gym or whatever it is to warm yourself up, like you've already done some of the work, but you're not going in completely cold. One of the things that I find really difficult, I think I mentioned it on the podcast last time. I assume we've done a podcast since then, but I bought like a bike, which is out there, which I think is great because for me, it's just a time saver. If I know that all I've got to do for the day is to go and do a long bike session, then I don't really want to pay to hire a bike to go to the gym to sit on a bike. And I don't have a bike. So I've bought that and I can sit on that, but fuck me, is it cold. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to double down on the training method. I'm going to get the fan heater in there and make it super hot.
Heat exposure.
I'll be horribly sweaty. It's so nice having the door open. But it's really difficult. And then when you think about that, heat exposure, I think a few podcasts ago for us was quite a bit of a buzzword in the industry. Like everyone was doing heat exposure because there's a lot of benefits to it. But a lot of people that are talking about it are going off to Lanzarote to go and get their heat exposure, or going out to Kenya and running in the Etem Valley rather than being in their side house with a fan heater on,
but a big jacket.
But it's a thing for people that have been working on their heat training. Potentially, you do need to consider how you're going to keep that going, and there are ways of doing it, but you can't just suddenly ignore it and expect yourself to be fine. But what I want to use as a little bit of a segue is we're going into grind my gears. Okay.
I've actually got a good segue as well for cold weather training into grind my gears, but you've got to go.
Can I say what mine is? And I wonder if it's the exact same.
I don't think it's going to be.
Okay.
But
when gym classes in the cold. Okay. Coach comes along and goes, right, guys, we're going to warm up. Everyone go run 200 meters outside for me.
Yeah.
They're coming in colder.
Yeah. That's a grind I get anyway.
Yeah. Just like,
that's lazy coach.
A run is fine, but telling everybody to go outside where they've just come in and they're absolutely freezing, and all of them, like, they're prepared for a warm up. So jackets are off.
Yeah.
They're in their leggings, tops, like guys are in shorts and t-shirts.
Yeah.
You know, like, cool, back out in the -2. Go run me 200 meters. How are we feeling? Yeah. Do some high knees. Now we'll do some stretches. No. Do the warm up indoors.
That's not a good warm up at the best of times.
Yeah.
Especially when it's cold. That for me is lazy coaching. But I actually had a discussion with a few coaches actually the other week. We were at this coaching summit and we're talking about warm ups, and I kind of ebb and flow with my opinions on this, but I do generally think that sending your class out for a run as the first thing you do, as your kind of like your raise element of your warm up, I always think that's a bit lazy. And I also think, I just take myself for example, and I might not be the best example of like general physical preparedness to go and do something, but if I want to go for a 200 meter run, the first thing I'm going to do is probably prepare my ankles. Mm-hmm. I'm probably going to do some sort of tib raise or calf raise or a little bit of a stretch. So the first thing someone tells me to do is go running. My ankles are making weird noises for sure. My knees are probably going to hurt and my hips hurt.
I'm going to be honest. Someone tells me that we're going to go off and do a 200 meter run to start the warm up. I don't see much benefit in running 200 meters. So my first move is go and find someone to talk to, usually the coach.
Yeah.
How you been? How's the stuff going? We'll wait for them to come back in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Go and hide in the toilet. Yeah. That's a classic. Yeah. If you ever need.
I'm getting warmer than they are right now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm doing star jumps in the toilet for sure.
That's what I'm doing.
No, my grind my gear was, and you might not agree with me on this one, is not wearing correct clothing when it's cold. I see too many people going running in shorts.
Yeah.
In this weather. But you need to cover your legs.
I know.
See, you need to cover your legs, your arms. You've got something on your head, and I'm on the fence with gloves. I don't know why I've got a weird glove thing, but probably gloves as well.
I would wear gloves. I would not wear trousers.
No, I'm wearing like tights.
I know. I sweat too much out of my lower body and it feels horrible. I would wear shorts.
See, this is where we're going to...
I would wear shorts.
I think it's just been like...
I'd wear a hoodie, a cap, gloves, and shorts.
A hoodie?
Yeah, I'd probably wear a hoodie before I'd wear something long on my legs. That's the thing I'm adamant about.
All other scenarios, I'm like shorts in pretty much every weather.
Yeah.
Like if I'm just going out, I'll probably just wear shorts. But if I'm going running in the cold and the dark, I think it's been ingrained in me since I used to run track, and it was like, if you come to the track...
Here he goes, leveling up on me. Sorry, used to run track. Yeah, I just run outdoors. I run in Air Force. That's my thing.
I'm sure my coach would have preferred me run in Air Force than in shorts. But it was like just... And we trained up in the north, and it was cold. And there was times on the track where you had to shovel snow off the inside lane. But if you turn up wearing shorts, you're just a noob. Come on, you've got to wear. If you look at any professional runner in the UK in the weather now, they're all wearing tights when they train.
Wow.
And that's my opinion. That's my grandma gear.
Well, this will
have some
possibly the fact that I'm running outside in shorts. One of my grandma gears at the moment is just getting ill. As a person, I generally like to say I am happy about the fact that I tend to not get ill. I think that's partly down to the way that I train, partly that I expose myself to stuff in the... Hold on. Rewind.
You lick the floor.
Well, do you know what? If I drop some food on the floor, I'll probably pick it up and eat it. Not in like somebody walks on it. Depends where that is. If it's on the tube, not happening. But like, I don't care that much because I'm kind of like, I want my immune system to be a bit exposed. Yeah. I want some fight or survive, fight or flight. But yeah, I can't seem to stop, and it's really, really annoying because it's massively impacting my training leading into London. Yeah. And do you know what? I'm going to cut out the middleman in all the things that can happen. The more I get ill, the higher the chance I'm getting rhabdo. That is a be all and end all. I don't think my time's going to change much. It's how much it fucks my body up.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Then to add on that, a grind my gear I had that I wasn't actually going to say, that it's come back into my head. When you're ill and you come to the gym and you're like coughing and spluttering and like blowing your nose everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I have to stand in the same vicinity with you for an hour.
Yeah.
And then you're touching barbells that I'll go and touch and use and dumbbells. I'm just like, just don't come in.
Yeah.
Please.
Just go away.
Go away. Yeah. I hate that as well. It's so annoying.
Have you got another one? I've actually got quite a few.
I've got so many. Now, the one, this was kind of funny because I obviously was sat on the sidelines last podcast you did because I got demoted.
Yeah.
But when you were going through your grind my gears, one of your grind my gears was over sciencing.
Yeah.
Over sciencing your training, over sciencing your workouts, and you went down the route of, and it's really funny.
49 seconds instead of 50 seconds.
And it's really funny because I'd screenshot so many things off social media of like similar time. It's especially the time domains. And like the over specific time frames, but we hadn't discussed it, and I was like, it's really ironic that you also had it as your grandma gear. But I'm going to come in with like the terminology and around like pacing, especially with running. So things like people throwing around the terms of LT1, LT2, and I mean, I don't have necessarily a problem with people trying to further their understanding around threshold training and also, you know, your body's physiological adaptation during exercise, et cetera, et cetera. I think that's cool. But it frustrates me when someone's just using those terms and they don't actually understand what they mean. Like LT1, LT2, and this probably needs to be its own segment in its own podcast probably, but LT1, LT2, they're not paces, they're measurements.
Yeah.
And this is like something that just then therefore demonstrates you have no understanding of it. And if you dig a bit deeper and you read some associated literature around what LT1 and LT2 actually are and what they actually do, a lot of academics who work in the field have a lot of hesitancy around using those terms. The reason why they probably reference those terms is because they're so globally renowned. But lots of people use, instead of LT1, they use, I think, T1, like threshold one. And instead of LT2, it's like SS max, which is like steady state max. So those help kind of capture the phenomena that LT1, LT2 actually are. But then, so I see people talking about these things. Oh, I'm doing this run at this pace, and this is the LT1. I'm like, this is just your ego. You're trying to show people that you're really knowledgeable around training,
a lot.
But actually, for the people who know, know. But then also trying to push your agenda on other people. Where people don't have the facilities to understand what LT1, LT2 is because they haven't tested it. And then when you're training, you don't even have. I actually have a blood lactate threshold machine. Testing your blood lactate when you're training is the biggest faff, and no one's doing it.
No.
So it's pointless to be using like blood threshold and lactate.
Further to that as well, for the people that are fortunate enough to know what their blood lactate levels are, LT1 and LT2, and they know what speed they were running out on the treadmill when they had it taken, so that's what they're using. That is only relevant for that day. Like, if we're being completely honest, if your LT1, let's say you're fortunate enough to be fit enough to say your LT1 is like 408, cool. On that day you had a bad night's sleep last night. If I went, oh, mate, I'm just running at 410 today, you actually should be as well. But you're like, no, my LT1 is 408, so I'm going to run at 408. And I'm like, actually, who knows?
Well, we spoke about that before.
Because it feels right.
It's like the flip is like strength training where you're trying to work off percentages, but actually you should be off an RPE. So it's like, you know that the meme where it's like the graph where you have the newbie who's like new to training, and there's like this nerdy guy in the middle who thinks they know everything, and then there's like the Jedi at the end. And it's like, to get fitter, I just need to do more intense training. And then like it curves up, and then it's like, I need to learn about my LT2 and my LT1. But then actually when you get really experienced, you just understand that you just need to train with more intensity.
For those people that had TikTok in COVID and are aware of the JPG lat pull down, that's a prime example. Like for 6 months when none of us had anything better to do, we went into the science of how to really activate certain fibers and get the best hypertrophy. And then you've got the old dudes that were commenting, like telling all these teenagers they didn't know what they're talking about, being like, well, look at all of the greats, like they seem to be fine. Arnold Schwarzenegger used to use the triangle on the cable row. Like now apparently it's inefficient. So it didn't look inefficient for him. And then like 6 months later, now all the teenagers are like, the whole that was all like bollocks. You should be training as hard as you can. That sort of thing.
That's a long-winded
I want to put two really quick ones in.
Okay.
Going back a step, we talked about warming up. This is something that someone said to me to put on this week. Using the term warm down. It's a cool down.
Warm down.
Warm down.
Yeah.
Warm down doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't make sense.
That's classic.
Yeah. Can you make me a cup of tea and then wait for it to warm down?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work. So there's that. What was the other one? Oh,
I don't know if that's just like poor English or like not understanding.
it's terrible English.
Yeah.
It's
nothing to do with your lack of understanding of what you're doing with fillers. Yeah.
I was triggered earlier in the episode by something you said about being with family at Christmas. There's nothing I hate more than going home and like literally being asked to pick something up or move it, and I move it a meter and it weighs maybe 5 kilograms, and then someone in my family going, "You don't need to train today now, do you?" Fuck off.
That's funny.
It's funny, but like they don't do it from that side of it. They genuinely mean like, well, you've done some exercise now, you're fine.
I don't know if you have the thing where your parents have to move something, but they have to wait until you come home to move it because it's too heavy.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what the fuck? It's like they want me to move the fridge.
Yeah.
First of all, try to lift a fridge.
I'm actually quite gassed that you think that that's a me job, but it's still two of me for sure.
Minimum.
Yeah.
And both of you still helping. Yeah.
And I will still need to go to the gym even if I can do it. Thank you very much, because that doesn't help my LT1 and LT2 pace, does it, Mum?
I'm gonna come in one with it's really specific is when clients upload videos of their workouts or like movements that they're doing for me to analyze, but they don't clip the video. So let's say, for example, they're back squatting.
Okay.
I get like a 3.5, sometimes 4 minute clip of 3 seconds worth of back squatting, and then the rest of the time just milling around the gym, like going and chatting. I hear the music, and then they're putting the belts on and then changing the weights. I'm like, just clip it. Just clip it down. I don't need to see the whole of your training session. Just send me the clip that you need. And then,
I've got more, and I've got one from someone else that's written in, but I'm actually going to save these for next episode. I am just going to go on a spin on what you just said.
Yeah.
It really annoys me when people have screen recorded something on their phone and upload it for people to watch on their story or whatever, but haven't clipped off the bit at the end where they swipe up and stop the screen record and then press OK.
But yeah,
just cut it off.
Yeah. Or like cut it down so you can't see like the time and the entry. And
I don't need to see that stuff.
Yeah, that's the classic. That's so niche.
That's so us.
I also us. I also have so many more, but maybe we'll save them.
Yeah,
I'll go one because it happened on the way here.
Okay,
and it's happened a lot recently. When you're walking onto the tube platform, you can either go left or right, but you need to go one way to disperse. To disperse,
yeah.
The worst, you walk onto the platform and just stop.
Yeah.
Or not even into the platform. You like walk one step in and then you stop, and you're either assessing. Granted, it's probably people who don't use the tube frequently and know where they're going, but obviously I'm a Londoner, so that doesn't care. I don't care about that.
It's NPCs.
Bloody
they're NPCs. They're the non-playable characters.
Literally. Yeah.
They're just waiting for their next instruction.
Come on.
Yeah.
Just make a choice.
That.
And then, anyway.
Yeah. Well,
let's move
like
on.
we said, we do have a couple to carry over, which is good, but it's partly my fault because I put the story up late this time. But we do really need your guys' involvement with these, because it's so much better when you guys send us something and we go, oh my gosh, I can't believe I've not thought about putting that on there.
Yeah.
You don't need to wait for a story. If you want to directly message the podcast page at MindSets_podcast, do so. Send in your grind my gears as and when they happen. The more hot off the press they are, the more aggravated they are, and they're even funnier.
Yeah.
But also, if you want to use a submit button, if you go onto the podcast page, there's the highlights of like stories. It's permanently up there. So I check that every once in a while. But like I said, feel free to directly message, because I might have a back and forth with you about it as well. I might want to get in on it at the time. So yeah, please do that while you're there. Drop a follow, send it to a friend, and tell them to tune in. We're going to move on to what is effectively another grind my gear. But it's the food section. Last time we did Christmas stuff. We're going to come back to that because rumor has it that there could be a Christmas episode coming up. So that's exciting. But what we have got here for the wonderful people that are just enjoying the ASMR of the raffle, but not getting to see, is, funnily enough as well, Pod Dogs decided to wake up and come over at this point. But we have got, I'll let you read it.
Okay, we've got, I don't know if you can probably hear the dog sniffing on the microphone. That's so good. So we've got a high protein, creatine, peanut caramel chocolate flavored bar.
And I've got the exact same thing, but mine's a white choc strawberry flavor bar.
Can I talk about the measurements of what's in it?
Well, You could talk about the first one.
Okay, the 20-gram protein.
20 grams of protein. That's pretty good for a protein.
Yeah,
that's classic. It's kind of like the bare minimum, really, for it to be acceptable. However, the big thing that we've not said, where you've read it out as high protein creatine. Creatine, for those that are on YouTube, creatine is a massive word on this because, and I will say, I've not seen any creatine bars on the market.
Seen a creatine.
These are brand new.
No.
These actually aren't on the market yet.
Oh, really?
So this is, we've got access to these through who you know. But marketing yourself as a creatine bar largely, and then only putting 1.5 grams of creatine in the whole bar when your daily serving is 5 grams. So just for reference, you need to get your creatine daily amount from these bars alone, you will get 60 grams of protein. Well, you'd get more than 60, like 70 grams of protein, and you would have...
And I think that's like the bare minimum creatine daily dosage, probably.
Yeah. Like realistically, you should probably have it a little bit more depending on who you are. But if we said, okay, you need 4 bars then, so you'd be looking at, what's that? 6 grams creatine.
80 grams protein.
You would have 1,400 calories worth of these bars just to get your daily allowance.
For the bars, do we know whether they're not?
What, per bar for calories? 300?
No. Per money.
Oh, these will be like £2.
Okay.
£1.50, £2. So you're also spending £6
Yeah.
to get your creatine. So I'm going to put it out and say it's a waste of time. However,
I like the idea, but it's like I like the idea of creatine gummies. So did everyone else.
Maybe
they've got the same marketing team.
But
are we going to open both of them?
Yeah, we might as well.
Okay.
Because if they taste good, then maybe I'll accept getting 1.5 grams of extra creatine in my daily diet. So I've got the white chocolate strawberry. I feel like white chocolate normally goes with raspberry as well. That's
You have to watch that on YouTube. Oh my god.
I don't know what I did. Okay.
Wait. I need to wait for the aftertaste because I don't want to jump the gun because that is delicious.
Really?
Yeah.
You look really disappointed. I'm not going to lie.
No.
I was expecting to hate this.
Same.
This is quite nice.
Mine's delicious.
Give it a swap. That tastes like something that exists. Like it's like a cake.
The palate cleanser.
Well, the MindSets mug. Okay, so this is the peanut butter one. Do you know what? It hasn't got the denseness of normal protein bars.
Yeah.
It's like cakey.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait. This one's definitely better. The peanut butter one's definitely better for me.
I definitely agree. But this is nice.
Yeah. I would buy this for a protein bar. I don't need the creatine bit.
No, but I'm like, maybe if I've had my 5 grams of creatine and I wanted a bit more creatine.
I'm gonna make a big claim because I know we've mentioned this ages ago and I think it's quite well regarded. But the peanut butter one, I would go for in a meal deal over the Biscoff.
Oh yeah,
one.
Yeah. If that was in a meal deal,
I'd
definitely get that quite often.
Well,
that's a nice protein bar. Like there's lots of protein bars on the market, and lots of them are not good, and lots of them taste good but don't have good protein. If that actually does have 20 grams protein, which I assume it does because it says it does, that's good. I'd also be interested to know if it actually has 1.5 grams of creatine. Because I'm a skeptic now.
I'm full skeptic. But interesting. I will give my feedback to where we got that from. And you might be able to find them. I don't think they do meal deals in this particular supermarket. Okay. It's not a big supermarket. It's not a middle supermarket. Some would say that it's quite a supermarket. You'll be able to find it there. But
good.
They're actually pretty good.
I was also thinking it would be a bit grainy, but
no, it's not.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's all good. We've actually had like pretty good time in terms of podcasts. So we've got those.
Yeah.
We've also been sent, and we've got to say a massive thank you. We've been sent a Remaker. A Remaker, you might not have heard of it, is a new wearable / not wearable piece of technology. We all have watches. We all care about our heart rate and like how our sleep looks, everything like that. This is not designed to do that. I'm holding it here. It's nice and small, fits in the hand. And I also have a Velcro strap for it. The Velcro strap means that I can connect it very, very simply. I nearly messed it up, but
and you just showed us how Velcro works.
Then you'll see the little blue light flashing if you're watching on YouTube, but you connect it to your phone, then you download the app. You then can wear it like you would a watch on your wrist, or you can put it around your ankle for certain things. But the whole point of this is you can get certain metrics out of your workouts that you wouldn't normally have access to. So how fast you are moving when you do a certain movement. But the other beauty of this Velcro strap is it is designed to be large enough to fit round the barbell on the chunkier bit, not like the tiny bit, on the chunkier bit before it goes on where you put the Olympic plates. The key thing that's really cool about that is then you can see not only how fast you're moving a bar, but you can actually track metrics like your range of motion, which is a great name for a media business, actually. But anyway, so the Remaker is available now. You can head to their website and give it a go. We've been sent one by them. We're going to give it a test, see what it can do for us. I'm particularly interested in the main feature that they talk about, or I saw them on Tuesday and they ran through, was people's training zones. There's been quite a lot of data coming out from King's College London with regard to hypertrophy training. There's a certain speed at which you should be moving the weight that's most beneficial to that. Same for power. You can imagine power, it should be a little bit quicker. But what you can have on your phone is you can have it tracking that, and through each rep it will tell you how fast you moved in the negative portion or the eccentric portion, and then on the opposing side of that, how fast you moved as well. And you can see if you are in the range for the type of training you're aiming for. If you're not, it will tell you to either increase or decrease the weight, and it can help you through that. But the other thing that will then do is that on those days where you're really grinding through the reps because your ego is saying that I can do this weight, it might actually give you some sense and say,
not today.
Not today. Like you're just giving yourself a chance of injury. And if you do multiple sets, then it's going to put that in there. But you can store all the data. You can connect it to your other wearables in terms of data to understand how it goes. So I think it's a really cool piece of tech. I haven't had a chance to give it a go. I will do before the next episode.
I think like if you're into data and you like to understand your training, I think it's a really smart bit of kit.
Yeah, so a massive thank you to Remaker. That's very, very cool. They've also got another product which is very similar. It uses the same technology, but is on like a clip system. This was the first time I'd used one, was seeing my deadlift force. So they put it on a chain and I stood on a plate and I like tried to rip it off the ground. Actually gassed with this. First of all, very happy with where they put the chain because it was right at the top end of the range of motion. So it wasn't where I'm weakest, but I managed to pull 268 kilos.
Very good.
Worth of force.
Yeah.
Nothing on what other people that I see in the gym on a Tuesday morning in Crocs do. But yeah, so pretty cool. Last mention. Do you like my t-shirt?
I do, yeah.
Thank you very much.
I was going to bring it up.
LSKD are a fitness brand that I'm a big fan of. They actually reached out to me and said, we'd love to send you some stuff, see what you think, because they're Australian based. They're making moves.
They are, yeah.
They're trying to come to the UK. So at the moment, there is a massive Black Friday sale on, up to 70% off. If you want to head over there, check that out. Right now, we're working on actually getting a code, but we'll see what we can manage. But yeah, must say the quality is really good, and for the brands that are in the UK at the moment, I would watch out because they are a very, very popular brand elsewhere in the world. We'll see if we can get you in some stuff as well.
Mate, I've got plenty of LSKD already.
Have you?
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
yeah, because it's like it's born through CrossFit.
Yeah.
So I've got a fair fit. I really like the quality.
Yeah.
I like the fit of this as well. I like the oversized fit.
Yeah.
But what I really like is the running shorts. You see James Newbury and Tia Toomey doing their HYROX in like matching LSKD running shorts.
Yeah.
The long slit. Those are cool shorts. But yeah, I love the quality and can attest to that.
So yeah, I mean, thank you for
sending us free stuff.
But on a serious note, we're obviously coming towards the end of the year. If you're watching this and you think, actually, this wouldn't necessarily be a bad place for your product, your thing to be involved, we are looking for ways to upscale the podcast going into next year. We think that hopefully you guys enjoy listening. If you're still listening, we found a way to keep you here. But we think that some of the information and things we talk about, more people should know about. And in order to do that, we need to be able to grow. So we are interested in working with businesses that align with what the podcast is about and what we want to talk about. So if you know anyone or anything that should get involved, let us know and we can reach out to them or get them in contact with us. They can reach us directly through the podcast page on Instagram, as I said, at MindSets_podcast. There is also the email on the page. I'm not going to put that in here because I know that there are bots that spam the email already. So I won't put it in here, but it is on the Instagram page. So please feel free to reach out or to either of us directly, which we will give you the socials at the end. However, time is pressing us into the game.
I'm excited, as always, for today's game.
Yeah, and you've brought it this time.
The production level of this game is unrivaled as well.
Oh, wow.
So,
oh my gosh, that's huge. How have you made that?
So how this is going to work, I'm a big fan of the show and tell, but today Angus is going to be guessing the shoe brand that belongs to the athlete. So what I've done,
Okay.
and I'm sure for those of you who are watching on YouTube, Angus will input the photo that I've created.
Okay.
But I have created, I think it's 8 different sports persons.
Okay.
But I've censored out their shoes, so you can't see the brand of their shoe. So you have to know hopefully a little bit about the person and then do some detective work.
Okay.
So there's 8 photos. You can take my phone. You're going to swipe the opposite way that you normally would.
Okay.
You got it. So there's your first one. I can talk about it as you look at it, but that is Michael Jordan.
This
So
is
a
Michael
nice,
Jordan.
easy one.
However, for those of you that are watching on YouTube,
He's already spotted.
he is not at the Bulls in this photo. He's at North Carolina, where he went to college.
You've got it.
Now, the tough thing about that is that would mean that he would not necessarily be playing in the shoes that he would want. It would be probably what the college would provide. Now, I
This
do
is
know,
good detective work
I do
already.
know at the time that basketball, the biggest shoes in basketball were Converse. But I don't think North Carolina was sponsored by Converse. I also can see, based on the covering up you've done, which is very good, that they would have been low cut. And I think Converse basketball shoes at the time were mainly high. I'm also seeing the other person in the photo that plays for Georgetown is wearing Nike.
Have you seen the film? Is it Air?
Yeah, I have
That's
seen
a great film. I love
really
that
good
movie,
film
yeah.
about the coming about of the Jordan shoe.
Yeah.
Um,
All very good so far. Good detective work.
this is tough. This is very tough. There is another shoe that I think is, I almost don't want to say it because I think it's so rogue to mention it. I'm willing to be wrong and not mention it and then no one know that I was thinking it. I'm going to say, could they be Adidas? And that would be really rogue.
He should have stuck with Converse.
Really?
Yeah,
They were Converse.
Yeah, white and blue Converse as well.
Oh, damn. The detective work was there.
Yeah, it was
and
really
I thought
good,
you tried
yeah.
to really get me wearing Adidas. Because I think North Carolina now are potentially sponsored by Adidas.
I wouldn't be able to tell you.
I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going on
Swipe
to the
that
next
way.
one.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, interesting.
Do you know who this is?
Do you know what? Unfortunately, I don't.
So this is Ellie Kildun, who is one of, if not the best, English rugby players. Just won the World Cup with the Women's World Cup team. She plays for Harlequins, and to 2024, she was voted Women's Player of the Year. Plays fullback, and you have to figure out what make her boots are.
Okay, now, again, you've done a pretty good job covering up. I don't know if you've done this intentionally, but one of the back blades of said shoe is available, which I'm going to try and use. And that doesn't actually give me a lot.
That gives you nothing.
I'm trying to think back to the boots that I used to have when I was playing rugby. None of them were blades like that. So I'm basically just picking between. I'm probably going to end up picking between like Adidas, Nike, and there's a rogue shout of like Under Armour when it comes to boots.
That's nice. I would stay away from all of those.
Okay, good. So now we're just really going to struggle.
But think rugby brand. This one's quite a hard one, especially if you don't know her.
Yeah, I think the tough thing is I can't think of the rugby footwear brand that I used to wear, and I'm almost certain it would be that. That's really, really frustrating. I can kind of remember the logo, I think. I can't remember it. Can I come back to it?
You can, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to come
Swipe
back to that one,
across.
guys. Okay, Bronny James.
This is so rogue.
Oh, God, this is so peak
this
as well.
not only is Bronny James, obviously the son of LeBron.
Yeah, playing golf.
Yeah, he's not even playing basketball. He's playing golf on Grant Horvath's channel. I think I've mentioned this video before. You should go and watch it because when the time of this video, Bronny hasn't been playing golf for very long, like a couple months.
Yeah.
He's incredible.
Okay.
Like just an all-round athlete, like super coordinated, obviously, as you'd imagine as a good
Well,
basketball player.
actually, this should have come up in the news, but probably isn't big enough. Have you seen what's happened to him recently in basketball?
No?
He's been moved down to a lower team.
Yeah, well, shock horror. he's not going to be able to live up to his
not
stats.
that
Yeah,
good.
yeah, exactly. Good
okay.
college player, though.
Again, you've done a very good job covering up the shoe. However, this is major judgment on him if it's wrong. He's wearing a Nike sock. Now, in my opinion, you cannot wear a Nike sock with anything but Nike shoes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to say that he's wearing Nikes.
He is wearing Nike.
Okay.
And also you've got to go like associated with his dad, like mint LeBron shoes.
Okay, cool. So we've got that one.
Keep going.
Next one, Josh Kerr. Josh Kerr. He's clearly running in spikes, I would imagine, because he's on a track in this photo. You can see in the bottom left.
I mean, spikes, runners, whatever. This is his shoe sponsor.
I don't know what.
So Scottish or Great British middle distance runner, 1500 meter runner, Josh Kerr. I can't remember when this photo was, but it's relatively recent. He's like a recent shoe sponsor.
Okay.
The last couple of years.
Because quite a lot has changed in running, in terms of shoe sponsors.
But again, yeah, stay clear from
the norm.
Yeah, I would.
Part of me almost wants to go like Puma, because there's been a massive rise of Puma in running, and kind of through HYROX, we've obviously seen quite a lot of it. But I almost feel like there is another shoe brand as well.
This one is like, when I say it, you're going to kick yourself if you don't get it. But it's still probably on the peripherals of popular.
That's really interesting.
But I think I was surprised when he signed with them, and also I seem to remember I was surprised at the length of time he'd signed with them. Like he'd committed for a long time with the shoe brand. Okay. And it was a big thing.
So there's a really rogue sports brand that I would have always normally associated with just golf, but I'm aware they do some other items. I don't know if running spikes are one of them, but this kind of aligns with the sort of thing that I would surprise me if he signed with them for a long period of time. It would almost somewhat surprise me that he was running in them. I'm quite disappointed that I don't know this, but, and this could be a really no, it wouldn't be for rugby, but Mizuno?
Ooh, that was a good shout, but no.
Okay.
Mizuno probably more specific for rugby boots.
Really?
It would have been, but it's not Ellie's boots either.
Yeah,
so
okay.
you got two for that. But Brooks, he's sponsored by Brooks.
Of course, it's Brooks. Yeah. This is okay. So the next one, we're back to women's sport. We're looking at the a lioness on screen here.
Do you know her?
This is really bad.
I think her. I don't want to be misquoted. I think her brother was on Love Island.
Oh, she can't be known for that.
No,
she's a lioness.
No, she's literally the best English footballer. Alicia Russo.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I do know Alicia Russo. That's really bad. Okay, now the boots are green.
They are.
I can see that. They are lime
green. Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say almost too quickly. Oh. the hard thing that's really difficult is I want to say that she's wearing Adidas. But like, England's kit sponsor is Nike, and I know that Adidas would be fine with that probably, but it just would look wrong to me. And they almost look like Mercurials. I think the Mercurials are Nike boot. Adidas.
Well done for sticking to your guns. Yeah, it's Adidas. Well done.
Okay. Okay, I know this. This is Alexander Ronchevich from HYROX, notorious for driving high sales in on-running shoes.
So good. Well done.
Yeah.
But is he not now a Puma ambassador?
Oh, is he?
I don't know.
That's dramatic.
I think he's been racing in Pumas.
Ooh.
Because I had to dig this one out. But I bought ons because of him.
You did? Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously.
Are you still racing in those?
No, I've got the Adios Pro 4s.
Oh, yeah, you love those. You do love those.
What a great shoe.
I've got a new race shoe I haven't told you about yet, but I'm going to keep it quiet. I'm definitely going to get injured from them, though. Okay, who am I looking at here?
So this is Lucy Charles Barkley. She's a British long-distance triathlete.
Yeah, I wondered if it was her. I don't recognise her face, but I know the name.
Yeah. If not the best in the world.
She's running in Pumas.
Is she? Not in this photo.
Damn. Okay. What's she running in?
A6.
Oh, yeah, classic.
I think Meta Speeds, I think. But I could be wrong. She could now be sponsored by Puma. I've just like dug these.
No, it's just the brightness of the surrounding. I was like, that looks like an orange Puma shoe.
I think there's one
red.
More. Yes.
Pogacar. Pogi. What does he race?
This is really mean because unless you know cycling brands, because he's like...
I know someone that listens to this is just like they definitely know.
Yeah.
As soon as I said the name, they were like, well, obviously that.
Yeah. I really want to play this game for myself.
Okay. I think this is going to be a cycling brand that I don't know.
Yeah, I think so as well.
There's only a few cycling brands that I know that are like expensive, and I don't really know why they're expensive. Although, can I ask for a hint? No, I was going to say, can I ask for a hint? But the hint would just be the answer. Because there's a helmet sponsor.
So that's a good like detective would go there. The problem is that's not related. But it's the same with like the England football.
Yeah,
it's like they wear Nike.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
The players can have their own boot sponsors.
Yeah,
and it's the same thing.
The only thing that I would consider from an outside perspective of overpriced cycling equipment and clothing, is Pass Normal or whatever.
Oh, nice. Yeah, they don't make shoes.
They don't make shoes. Or there's another company which probably also doesn't make shoes, that's like Rafa.
They make shoes.
Do they?
Yeah.
Not his.
No.
No.
Good.
No, I have no idea. I'm gonna have to fail.
I mean, even if you were a cycling enthusiast, I think you'd struggle to get that. It's called DMT.
Oh,
it's the name of its shoe sponsor. It's like a.
Isn't that a drug?
Maybe.
I think that's a drug.
Is it?
Yeah, I think DMT is a drug. I think it's very like
aerobic performance enhancing.
No, I think it's like a visual
hallucinogenic.
Yeah, something like that.
Maybe it's the same company.
Maybe yeah.
Who knows?
Maybe that's why he's so good.
Yeah.
He's doping through his shoes. Okay, so we're back to Ellie. We're back to Ellie.
Final one. It's not Mizuno.
This is gonna hurt so much.
I thought you were going down the line of maybe Skechers, because they sponsor Henry Slade.
I've got another one.
Rogue.
I've got another one.
Okay, cool.
This is throwback to me when I was like 6 years old. Getting boots.
Yeah.
Umbro.
Oh, it would have been so good. It's not Umbro.
What's she wearing?
Canterbury.
Oh, I forgot Canterbury makes shoes.
Yeah.
Do you know what's really annoying though? Is that's still not the brand that I was wearing when I was playing rugby. And when I was playing rugby, my rugby boots were like one of the cool brands for rugby boots.
Only like when I was growing up playing, only the Fords, only really the front row wore Canterbury, and I was like, this thing Wilkes.
Yeah. They're not fast enough.
Yeah.
I was pretty sure I was wearing football boots.
Yeah, I wore football boots a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, the really big fat studs. So you got like stuck in the mud when you were in the scrum. I was like, I don't need those.
And then they check to see if your studs were metal.
Yeah.
Which is actually a bit savage.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Okay, well, I didn't make myself proud from the game. I think it's fair to say.
I think you did quite well.
For those of you listening, I appreciate that you're kind of probably having a bit of a stab in the dark. You just sort of had to go with the athlete, not the photo, to have any help.
I mean, not that the photos really helped at all.
Lesson learned, get over to YouTube. For one, while you're there, subscribe. But if you did better than me, let me know while you're in the comments and let me know which ones you got wrong. And I will do my homework and I'll get better at this and potentially come back at you. And
I tried to get a mix of sports, a mix of different.
No, that was good. I enjoyed that actually, and I appreciate you going through the effort to cover his shoes up. When you said I've done some work to cover them up, I thought you definitely wanted to ChatGPT and gone, can you make these shoes clown shoes?
Yeah. Oh, that's way better.
But no, that brings us to the end of the episode. Like I said, there is an outside rumor that there could be a Christmas special coming up. If there's something in particular you guys would like to see involved, maybe there was a game in a previous episode that we did that you really loved and you want to feature as part of that, or maybe there's a Christmas game you think we should play that you play with your family, let us know. I'd love to do it. Anything else, grind my gears, topics, things you'd wish you knew more about?
Christmas grind my gears.
We're definitely having Christmas grind my gears.
Yeah.
But if there's any other topics in the lead up to that, or anything you'd like us to consider for next year, like I said, please reach out to us through the Instagram page or to us directly. Or if you go to the Instagram page and you find the email, if you want to send something a little bit more formal, then that's always interesting. So yeah, head over to @MindSets_podcast. If you haven't watched this or you are watching this on YouTube, go over, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, if you are on Spotify, you can follow the podcast and you can leave a 5-star review. I don't think the 4, 3, 2, 1 button works, so don't even bother pressing them to try. Just 5 stars, great. And yeah, you can also retweet any post. Retweet? No, you can't retweet anymore. You can repost any post on Instagram. So if you particularly enjoyed an episode and there's a reel that's come out of that, would massively appreciate if you guys can do that. Again, helps us grow, helps us make it better. And one day we can invite you to a live show, maybe.
Do
you know what? I'm just going to speak it into existence, because a podcast that I love being involved with, they joked a year and a half ago about selling out Madison Square Gardens. And they sold out Madison Square Gardens. So see you in Madison Square Gardens. But no, massively appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode.